Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abair and this is where I share my insights. And today I'm wondering, why do we put so much effort into surviving when from an evolutionary standpoint we're at the top of the food chain? So the question is, who is my enemy? You might think it's others. That is until you realize that others, the environment, what's out there, my circumstances, all of that is me. Those are synonyms for the great I am. And the only obstacle is this feeling of separation. And it's a subtle shift that takes you from surviving to thriving. Stick around and I'll explain how this works. You might consider the effort to survive what one might consider the animalistic nature. And while humans are animals, we have to understand that we're at the top of the food chain. And we are processes. We are evolving. And we are not only evolving as creatures, we are evolving as spiritual beings. And I believe that the animal nature has an end to it. And you shift then into your awareness of your unlimited, effortless being. You must understand, though, that this takes some time, because fear doesn't just suddenly go away. And some people, it does. You don't come to these insights quickly, but you're on your way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching stuff like this. If you've had enough worrying and, thinking about tomorrow, you realize that kind of thing exhausts itself. And suffering, just simply, you've had enough. You've had enough suffering. And from there, some kind of new sensation develops in you. However, you must be patient with this process, because it does take time, and like all things, you must trust in the process of shifting from the animal nature to something that's a little more profound. It's a knowledge that's been called faith, understanding, knowledge that surpasses understanding. And this is our fundamental purpose. Until then, we try to be as compassionate as we can possibly be with people who feel they are at the bottom of the food chain and constantly under threat. I had to splice this video because my camera is very glitchy today, my computer. So in the next segment, I'm talking about squirrels and small animals who are nervous creatures. And that didn't come through the first time, so I'm going to splice this into the video. Sorry about that. Is an animal that is preyed upon. And so they do a lot of hoarding and looking over their shoulder. They're nervous little creatures. They don't know. That's what you call the survival instinct. And human beings have this. We have a survival instinct until you realize, am I here just to pay the bills? Am I here to live from paycheck to paycheck? Am I here merely to support myself? That's an empty existence. And a lot of people never overcome this. Even so-called wealthy people with lots and lots of money, there's tons of fear that it's going to be taken away by the government, or the stock market might crash. There's fear that there won't be more. So we got to stockpile. Now, if we look at the animal nature, and we look at animals that are on the top of the food chain, say lions, Lions will hunt and they will put a certain amount of energy and effort into catching their prey, and they will feast and enjoy on that prey, maybe for a day or a group of them, and their hunger is satiated for a couple of days. I don't know how long a lion goes before they hunt again. But because they are at the top of the food chain and they have this awareness that they're not constantly looking over their shoulder being threatened by anything. They trust that the landscape is providing them with food. Their pantry is their environment, is so to speak. And there may be periods where supplies are scarce, but they always are on the lookout for what they know is in the field of potential. What do they do once they've had their fill? They leisure. They enjoy they lounge around. Lions spend most of their day lounging around. The cubs play. So the animals at the top of the food chain do a lot of, I guess, enjoyment and leisure. They don't have to hoard. So if you look at what we do as our animalistic nature, is we stockpile. And Jesus has a parable about this. He says, store up your treasures in heaven. Why do you have all these supplies when the moths eat them and they dwindle, they rot, right? It's worthless because we are resourceful. That a human being can understand the complete cycle of the universe as a whole entity. When you are hungry, you are the source of the hunger. When you need food, you go into the kitchen and you make yourself something and you eat it, and you are the source of the satiation. It's a complete thing. The universe is all completely balanced. The hunger, and so everything comes to you when you overcome your animalistic nature. It doesn't bother you if you don't have supplies in the storehouse, because you know the field of potential is you. The field of potential is the totality of possibilities, which is what you are, and you have access to the field of potential, which is the largest bank, the largest pantry, the largest supply house that your imagination can imagine. And so as you overcome the animalistic nature, you realize that you are the obstacle. The sensation of self, the little person taking care of herself, you're not. The perception of voluntary action, the perception of voluntary control is the same as involuntary. We are under the illusion that we can do things. But, like for example, beating your heart. You are beating your heart. No, you say, my heart is beating. There's no difference between beating your heart and your heart is being beaten. Circulating blood and your blood is being circulated. These so-called intervening voluntary things, like if you get to get into your breathing and make it happen. That's an illusion. It feels like you're doing that. In the same way it feels like I'm speaking, but I am being spoken through. Sorry, my camera keeps glitching. I'm not sure what's wrong with my computer. But that's all me. I'm doing that. So being a human being is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And as a self-fulfilling prophecy, fear can fulfill itself. If you're always fearful of losing, you will lose. And you get tired of that. You get tired of hurting yourself, because that's essentially what you're doing. You get tired of getting in your own way by thinking you're disconnected from the root source of all things. And so you begin to realize just how resourceful and creative you are, all in a singularity. Even the environment is part of this complete picture, that the creature and the environment are the same. In the same way that if you were dropped on a desert island with no clothes, no tools, nothing, the desert island would be your bank. Coconuts, hunting, fishing, clothing, structures for homes, supplies for a fire. It's like the universe has supplied itself, you see. You are supplied because you are the supplier. And you come supplied with this ignorance of limit. The universe has figured out a way to limit itself in a human being and become lucid again. And as you become lucid and you become aware that you are essentially not compressed to the volume of a mind-body construct, you begin to serve by creatively sharing with other people. In a nutshell, hey, everything's fine. When you are the source of the universe, why are you afraid? So it's like I'm trying to convince you that you are the resourceful one, the creative one, the loving one. So how do you demonstrate that you're at the top of the food chain? How do you put yourself first in that natural order? Putting yourself first means that whatever you recognize that you need, let's say you need some money. That's a good one. I need money. Give some money first, or give a service first, or give energy first. You are the great initiator. So a lot of people, the poor people, when I say the poor people, please forgive me, this is not a derogatory term, but people poor in spirit have their hands held out to a graven image in the sky that doesn't come through for them. So they get online and they start thinking about, well, maybe I need to go through some spiritual practices. Maybe I need a guru. Maybe I need a good luck charm, which are more graven images of a God that never comes through. So we, and I say we, those of us who are, if you're a spiritual teacher or you do the same thing I do, we have to be careful with our language. Well, if I say something to you like, life is supporting you, that's a beautiful sentiment. Life is supporting you. If you don't realize that life is you or I hear that sentence. When I hear life is supporting me, I hear I support myself. I and myself are references to the same singularity. I don't hear that as a God in the sky supplies me. But some people do. Those who are they think they're lower on the food chain, when they read a statement like, my help cometh from the Lord, they think the Lord is not them. They really do not understand. The word the Lord is you fundamentally. They'll say, God is my provider. And they sit there and wait, not realizing that they are providing for themselves. You can believe that God is your provider, but you're going to touch it, make it, create it, and do it. You're going to initiate the action that provides for yourself. And if you think it's God in the sky or good luck or something out there, you don't quite have it. So if you read a manifestation manual and it says the universe provides, you provide. You will initiate action that will get that going. And it's usually in the form of love or service or something that you enjoy doing. you see. You are going to initiate. I'm holding up my hands because your hands, your voice, you're going to do it. It's not just about being open and receptive. It's about action. Action forward. Initiation forward. What does this look like when you get in touch with your divine nature? Let's say you need love. It's so simple. It's just so simple. It's not even funny. Let's say you need love. You feel, oh, I want a companion. You give love. I could use a friend. Go be a friend. I could use some attention. Go give some attention. I could use an opportunity. Go give somebody an opportunity. You see? So this idea of putting yourself first or learning how to thrive means you're the one going to touch it. You're going to touch it. You're going to tap on a keyboard. You're going to saw on a piece of wood. You're going to do the work first. You're not waiting. You just launch in because you're resourceful and you understand what that means. Living from paycheck to paycheck is surviving. Oh my God, where is this coming from? And you don't realize you're supplying yourself. And the worry is a fear that it's going to be taken away, but it's self-fulfilling. The universe is self-fulfilling, self-sustaining, and self-taking away. It does all of it through something called you, but you can't be falling for the illusion that you're doing it yourself. Because there's no real mind-body construct that is free-roaming, controlling. It is more or less the dissolving of the animal nature. Looking around your shoulder, who's going to take this from me? Come take it all away. There's more where that came from. I'm the resourceful one. I'm the lion. I can lounge around. Yeah, I'll have to do something to catch my food, but I realize my skills, my intelligence, my brain, and the so-called environment are all me. Even my enemies are me. So I have no opposed. Once you realize you are the resourceful, effortless source of the world, who is opposing you? What is opposing you? If not yourself. It is the strong sensation that others, the devil, something not me, is keeping me from progress. You cannot stop progress. You are progress. But we must get out of the idea that there's an arrival point. You are an ever evolving process. You can't catch it by making it a goal. You have to be in that wonderful state of joy, perpetuating state of joy. Abraham Hicks calls it a vortex. I love that. I like to think of myself as a vortex, moving and ascending effortlessly, right? Because I've transcended my animal nature. I'm not just an animal. I'm not just a human. If you think you're just a human, then you haven't realized that you are just the universe in some separate entity. But substantially, it's all connected to all the resources in the world. When you're the resourceful one, how can you be stopped? That's thriving. And it takes some deep thought and contemplation. But if you watch my channel, you are moving into that realm from the animal nature to the divine nature to whatever you call it, to your true nature. You are moving into that thriving effortlessness that ultimately will help other people do the same thing. My name is Ryan Hebert, and I really appreciate you watching, and I hope that these insights are helpful to you. My blog is called mymorningmotivator.com, and I hope you'll check it out, and we'll see you next time.